Well, it's good to be back again. And as promised a couple weeks ago, something new was coming to the scanner. Well, it's something new, but more in the way of an update or maybe even an improvement to what we felt was almost improvement proof. But as we're finding out, nothing in life is. It's always opportunities to change and make better. And it's with inner voice. We've listened to a lot of comments over the last 2 months, good, bad, indifferent about the new changes to inner voice. 90% of it is all very happy about the new inner voice, but some concerns because people were used to Pulse. Now, I remember when we introduced Pulse, there was a lot of, we don't really like this. We like the old version, but now nobody wants the old version. And we're kind of in that same spot here with going from Pulse to the new Verde version. And let me just explain why we're making this evolution. When you go to your Inner Voice app, you're going to find that you have two options. You'll have Verde, and then you'll have Pulse. Now, next to that is the graph. If you just want to see the picture of your voice graph, you can click on that. But the two programs are Verde and Pulse. So you have both of those there. But one of the things that came up in these discussions that we've had with some of the frequency therapists that use inner voice is they like the ability to take the music down. So all the person or the client was aware of was the tones. That's valid. There are times when just the tones are just what the client needs without any music, without any outside stimulus. So that's important. The difference between Pulse and the Verde is the way the frequencies are generated and delivered to the brain. Pulse was really good. There was a left and a right hemisphere aspect to the tones. Simple, basic, but a left ear and a right ear, and you needed headphones to be able to truly get the benefit from that offset. Verde took that concept to an entirely new dimension. We're using right frequencies, scalar frequencies, the solfeggio frequencies, a whole myriad of frequencies to create the left and right ear experience, which creates the tone that you need to resonate with. So what's happening on the left and the right ears is not the magic. The magic is what those two, when combined, create in the center of the head. That's what Verde does that Pulse attempted to, but didn't get to the depth of the emotional imbalances that Verde does. Both good, both effective. But one of the things that people noticed when they started using the Verde was some of the music set triggers, caused people to get anxious, uncomfortable. Now, at first glance at that, you think, well, that's a bad thing. That's not, I don't want to listen. I don't want something that's going to trigger me. But the truth is you do. And here's why. Nothing physically can change until emotions that are attached to that physical have been addressed and dealt with. Now, if you've been listening to Pulse for all these months and years, you're comfortable. It feels good. Yes, you had some great experiences with it. Then you went to Verde, and those same 12 notes, one of those notes with this new piece of music triggered something, made you feel anxious, made you feel uncomfortable, was taking the emotions to another level. Let's talk a little bit about emotions. Our emotions start forming almost at the time of conception. And I'll give you an example. A young couple, they get married, life's tight, and they're struggling, still learning each other, still trying to navigate a new life. and finances and all those things play into it. And maybe mom or dad or both are worried about, okay, what are we going to do with this new child? We don't have enough money hardly to survive right now. And all of those emotions that mom and dad are going through are being felt and absorbed by this new child. So emotions actually start to form in the womb. And when you're born, you're not aware of those things. But those emotions, those fears, those insecurities, those maybe fights, those whatever that new child was experiencing prior to birth are ingrained into their young emotional mind. And as they grow, those emotions that are so deep. Now, when you're born, you probably, mom and dad were happy and you were feeling loved and hugged and all of those things. But the deep rooted emotions are still there. So when you're listening to one of the Verde pieces of music and those triggers come up, we're bringing up emotions that have been so buried that you're completely unaware of in most cases that they're even there. But if you push through those, you will eventually be able to, with the help of those frequencies, balance out that emotional disruption that is buried so deep. This is why Verde is so important, so critical. I'll remind you of a phrase, you've all heard it before. As a man thinketh, so is he. Same for women. The way we think, our self-talk, in a lot of cases isn't very positive. A lot of our self-talk is pretty critical, which needs to change. When you look in that mirror in the morning, you need to be able to look at you eye to eye and tell you love you and really, really mean that. Even with all of your imperfections as you may see them, you love you. We can't really do that until we deal with those emotions that are causing us to feel the way we do and not know why. Have you ever got up in the morning or been driving along somewhere or walking and all of a sudden a feeling comes of doubt or don't feel good, insecure? Where did that come from? That came from something deep inside. Something triggered that. And now you got to deal with it. Now I got triggered, but you don't know how to deal with it. Here's where inner voice really shines. You can put on your headset, close your eyes, do your voice, and listen to those tones. And pay attention to the tones that cause a trigger, that cause an uncomfortableness, because that's the one that you need to deal with at that moment in time. That's why I encourage people to use inner voice at least daily, sometimes 2 or 3 times a day. It's 10 seconds of your time, and put on your headphones and listen to some of those things. And if you don't have a lot of time, listen to the one that caused the trigger. Now, let's get back to why we've given you all of these options. You have the pulse. It's a great one to work with. But as soon as you feel like you've hit a wall, you're not moving past those emotional blocks, then go to Verde. Trust me. You go to Verde, you're going to hit a whole new layer of emotional blocks. Listen to those. Now, I've had people say, oh, the music sounds like Disney or a big motion picture or some big orchestration. Well, that's on purpose, because every one of those pieces of music were written in the key of the note that is showing what's in balance and what's in balance at that moment in your life. And that'll change throughout the time. One day this, maybe in the afternoon it's different from the morning because of the way we process our emotions. You know, every morning we wake up, we've dreamed, even if we don't remember those dreams. We've had neurological activity that's processing the things from the day before. And so your emotions are going to change. You may get some news during the day that was wonderful news. Again, your emotions are going to change based on that stimulus that you just received. The beauty of inner voice is it's the universal balancer. Whether your emotions are up here or they're down here or somewhere in between, inner voice is going to try to help bring those back into balance. And everything in life is about balance. We have too much this way or too much this way is not a good thing. We want to be in balance. That's why the little symbol in the throat, it just symbolizes being in balance. Spiritually, emotionally, physically. No other reason for that other than to remind us life's about balance. So let's talk just a minute about Pulse, because so many of you are used to Pulse, you loved Pulse. And Pulse was good, is good. And we gave everybody options with music with Pulse. You could change your music, you could go to the library and put in different songs, and you could change the pitch of that. You could do all of those wonderful things. And we were thought that in giving that was great, but in retrospect, and after you look at that, it wasn't so good because it took away from the tone that you needed to resonate with in your brain. And you add music out that's a little more lively and upbeat and has all of these different things going on. It's trying to listen to a whisper in a room of noise. You understand, the note that you need to resonate with needs to be that particular note. And so this outside music with all its excitement and all this other stuff was distracting. The piece of music that was generally by default was the piano music, which was good because piano was very basic and there was no crescendo. It was just a simple piece of music. The one nice thing about Pulse, it did allow you to take the music out, which gave you the ability to do just tones. And you could change the waveforms. But time has showed us changing the waveform wasn't as important as just having that solid wavelength coming into the brain, whether it was a sine wave or a triangle wave or a square wave. It wasn't as important, but the music was distracting. Now with that, you're going to say, well, wow, that music that you've got on Verde is really distracting. And the answer to that is, no, it's not. See, because when that music was composed, it was composed to be everything in the key of the tone that you're supposed to be resonating with. So yes, the music is a little more exciting, a little fuller, but everything in that music only did one thing, and that was to amplify the tone that you need to resonate with. So yes, there's all this music going on, there's all this thing, but everything is in sync with the tone. Let that sink in for a second. That music only amplified and focused the tone you're supposed to listen to. It did not distract from it, whereas the other did. That's why that music's important. And that music brings up and helps bring up the emotions that are tied to that note's imbalance. Now, there's a lot of information here, and I hope you'll pay attention to this. Maybe go back and listen a little bit more, but more importantly, listen to your tones. That music, yes, may not be your favorite piece of music, but it's the best piece of music for getting the therapy of that note to resonate permanently in your mind. So those 12 pieces of music, and they are 12 different pieces, that is what helps bring up the emotion, hence the trigger, the resistance, the uncomfortableness. It's bringing it up. But then that music also then focuses that note, because everything in that music is in that same key, back into your brain. Okay. The other thing that we've done with Verde over Pulse is the frequencies in this ear and in this ear are so much more complex than what was in Pulse. Very complex. blend that creates an entirely third frequency, which is the note that you're supposed to be resonating with. And so with all of this information here and all this information here, including the music, because it is different in left and right ear, is bringing into the focus of the brain, the mind, I need to pay attention with this note. This is what I need at this point. So when you listen to that, and it does bring the triggers, write that note down and say, okay, I need to pay a little more attention with this. Maybe I need to listen to this particular piece of music, this particular tone, a few more times. Bring that up. Face that demon in that emotion and release it. And then when you get to the point to where that music doesn't bring that trigger, you've accomplished the goal of what inner voice is about, to bring balance back to our emotions. Now, the last thing, the big thing, the thing that we promised you 2 weeks ago, for those of you who focus on frequency therapy, you now have it. If you look at the bottom of your screen when you've done Verde, when you've selected Verde, you've recorded your voice, and it's all done, you go down, you'll have the opportunity to hit just balancing tones or tonal therapy. And tonal therapy will only give you the left and the right matrix of frequencies. No music at all. You don't change the waveform because it's very difficult to change that with the way the music and the tone has been composed. But that's all that they're listening to is just those tones. Now you can do that in Pulse. You can turn off the music and just listen to the tones, but they're not the same. The tones in Verde are very complex blend, left and right ear, not just simple tones and simple tones that create a third. This is a symphony of tones that creates a single, balanced, focused tone that will help deal with that emotional imbalance. As always, we appreciate all your feedback, your input, because that is what's helped bring this to where it's at today. Use it. Become a product of it. Learn how to deal with those emotions. And then once you've mastered your emotions, no matter what else life throws at you, you'll be able to deal with those in ways that you didn't think you could. So thanks for being here. See you next time.
Hi, I'm Melinda Love, a Solex Quantum Living advocate. The AO scan is advanced bioresonance frequency technology that we can use to scan and balance our energy anytime, anywhere, right from our own device. To learn more about this quantum wellness tool that's changing lives, go to aoscanqla.com. On this page, I provide you information about how it works, the 40 plus years of science behind it, and how it came to be, information about the programs that you will receive access to with your subscription, diagrams, videos on how the scans work and what benefits you might receive. You'll find pricing information, a video about how to sign up, and my favorite product bundle that you can use to amplify your results with the technology. You'll also see real transformation stories and testimonials from other users. Check the video description for direct links, related videos, and how to contact me. I invite you to join the Solex community and start scanning and receiving the benefits of frequencies today. Thanks for watching.